Okay, so today we'll see how to work with AMDP. Okay, so this AMDP stands for ABAP Managed Database Procedure. ABAP Managed Database Procedure. Okay, so let us understand the meaning of this AMDP first. ABAP Managed Database Procedure. So what exactly is the purpose of this AMDP is AMDP, I can say it is a framework. Okay, it is a framework for managing and calling what stored procedures in what application server of what ABAP. So here I can say it is a what framework is a framework for managing, or I can say creating, is a framework for creating, managing and stored procedures calling stored procedures in what application server ABAP, in application server ABAP. So to understand this, already we know about how to work with what procedures, how to create the stored procedures, and how to create the what how to consume them in what ABAP report. So here just try to understand this. This is bottom up approach. So what is this bottom up approach is? Assume that we have two layers here. Okay, we have two layers. Let me put it like this. Yeah. Okay. So here I'll say, yeah. So here this is your application server of what BAP. Okay, and this is your what SAP HANA. Okay, so we have two layers here. So in the bottom up approach, what we used to do earlier, already we know how to create the process in what HANA database. In the native HANA development, what we used to do, we used to create the database procedures. One second, sorry. This is application server of ABAP, and this is your SAP HANA database. So initially we used to create what database what procedures. We used to create the database procedures something like this. This is your database procedures. Okay, now after creating the database procedures, how do we consume it from the ABAP layer? How do we consume it from the application server of ABAP? What you will do, we need to create something called as what database procedure proxies. So this is your, in the application server layer, we'll say what we'll create what database procedure what proxies, database procedure proxies. So what we used to do in the bottom of approaches, first we are going to create what database procedures directly in the what ANA database. After creating that, if you want to consume it from the ABAP layer, we used to expose this database procedures as what database procedure proxies. And while creating this database procedures, I can, we have not discussed, we'll discuss that later on. There is something called as what we need to assign it to something called as what ANA delivery unit. So if you want to do the what transportation, here we have something called as HANA transport container. Again, we have not discussed, so just leave it for the timing. HANA transport what container. In the short form, we call it as what HTC. We used to we need to what upload this to what HTC HANA transport container. So just leave it. We have not discussed this at all. Okay. So the main thing you have to focus is in the bottom up approach. We used to create what database process directly in the HANA database. Then we used to expose it to what database procedure proxies. Okay. Now, yeah. Now in the what top down approach, what we will do is, so assume this is a top down approach. Okay, again here also let me segregate like this. We have two layers. One is application server ABAP, another is what ANA layer. So this is your application server ABAP, and then this is your what SAP ANA. Okay, what you have to do in this top down approach is, so this I am calling it as what top down approach. Okay, here what we have to do is we need to create something called as what AMDP. How do you create? We'll see it shortly. We'll create something called as what AMDP, ABAP managed database procedure. Okay, whenever we create the AMDP, what happens is based on this AMDP, okay, based on this AMDP, SAP will create SAP will create what database process. So reverse. Earlier, so far, what are we know in the HANA development is native HANA development is what? First, we used to log on to HANA database. We used to create the database process, and we know how to call the database process from HANA level itself. But if you want to consume it in your ABAP layer, in the ABAP reports, we need to expose it to ABAP layer in the form of what? Database procedure proxies. Okay, right? Then we used to call that particular database procedure proxies in your ABAP reports. Now here what you have to do, we need to create the AMDP in the ABAP level itself. Okay, so when you create the AMDP, okay, so what is that mechanism will follow your standard what ABAP transport mechanism. The transport organizer is in SC09 and SC10. Okay, it's the same thing here. Standard ABAP transport. Here since we are not touching the HANA database, we don't require anything like what delivery unit. Okay, delivery unit not required because we are not directly creating that in what HANA database. What is delivery unit? Forget about that. Okay, so what you have to understand is in case of uh, what bottom up approach, what happens in case of bottom up approach, I'll put it like this here. In this ABAP and what HANA servers. Okay, ABAP and HANA servers are involved. Okay, are involved for what developing, what else, managing, and what calling what HANA procedures, calling HANA process in what ABAP reports. Okay, but whereas here what happens in this ABAP server, I mean to say ABAP server is the application server, is a sole master. Okay, it is a sole master for what developing, okay, managing, and what calling what database procedures. Okay, so I think somewhere from SP06 onwards we have this AMDP facility. Okay, before that we used to do like this, but now also both are supported. Now also both are what supported. So that is the main difference between the bottom up approach and what top down approach. Whatever we have seen so far is what bottom up approach. We have seen so far what bottom up approach, that is we used to develop the process directly in the HANA database level. Then we used to expose it. Okay, we used to expose it to what HANA layer. sorry, we used to expose it to what ABAP layer. Okay, something like this. But whereas here what you are doing, first we are going to create something called as what, AMDP. We need to create AMDP here. Then the once we create the AMDP, automatically what happens, a database procedure will be what created in the HANA database. So what I can say is, in this we require two servers. Here we require only what, one server for what, managing your database procedures. Is it clear?
Sridhar, a question here.
Yeah, tell me.
Sridhar, like when we are creating these HANA stored procedures
Hmm.
in native HANA database,
Hmm.
so why those are not getting reflected in SAP HANA database? Because I'm just thinking like, are there two databases which is like HANA native SQL database is different than SAP HANA database?
No, no, it will create, no? Once we store it in the sysbig, it is stored in the HANA database only here.
No, like, suppose we are creating views and some of the tables, right? They're custom, normal custom tables.
Okay.
So unless we expose them to SAP, they will not be coming to SAP database, right?
I
So
didn't. Okay.
no, no, no. In native SQL, when we are creating custom tables like these employee and all that
Okay.
tables,
Okay.
so they
Okay.
are not directly coming to SAP, screen level. When you see SAP, you have a separate database, right? Environment.
Okay. Okay.
So is that database and the native SQL HANA database is different?
No, no,
This
it's the same thing, but you mean to say ABAP dictionary, right? The tables we create in what, SQL console, they are not getting reflected in ABAP dictionary. That's what you are saying.
exactly. So if the database is same, whatever we create in native SQL, all these
Hmm.
tables and all that should come into SAP database also, right?
It's a database is same. Database is what
Mm-hmm.
same, but I cannot directly access it from ABAP dictionary. The concept is, we are able to create the what, database tables, all those things in the HANA database directly. Okay. Earlier, what we used to do before HANA, we used to create everything through what, ABAP dictionary. Okay, so we don't have any direct access to a database earlier. Everything you have to go through what, ABAP dictionary. Now what you are doing, we are creating the database table directly at the database level, but we are unable to see it physically through what, ABAP dictionary. Okay, so even if you are unable to see it physically, what is the agenda of the database tables? To store the data. So the main concept is, how do we consume the data from the ABAP level? So for that, what we'll do, on top of that particular database tables which we have created directly in the HANA database, we are going to create the views. We are going to create the attribute views, analytical view, calculation view, stored procedures. Okay, we are going to create all those things. Through those things, we'll access our HANA database tables. And those things, that is, I'm going to say modeling views and the database procedure, I can directly access from ABAP level. Na? The main thing is,
But they are getting
yeah.
exposed. They are getting exposed to SAP HANA. But as we create these, normal, the employee tables, which we are practicing now,
Mm, mm.
so
Okay.
they are stored somewhere in the HANA database only, right?
Correct, correct. Yeah. Let me put it like this. So this is your HANA database. Okay, this is your HANA database. What I did here, I created what, some custom table. Assume that this is your ZEMP. Okay, so in this table, we have maintained some data. Now, what you are saying is, you are logging into SAP system through the GUI or whatever it is. In SC11, I cannot access this. First and foremost thing is, I cannot access that in what are the table. The database is same. Okay. If you create, suppose through SC11, if I create any table, this table will come and sit in the same database only. Remember, it will come and sit in the same database only. But the table
But
which we create directly in the HANA database, I cannot access through what, dictionary. So what we are going to do, because of that reason only, okay, in the HANA database level, we are going to create what, modeling views, attribute view, analytical view, calculation view, stored process, all those things. We are going to expose them. Means we don't have the provision to directly expose the database tables to ABAP dictionary. You understood what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Okay, so
But if I create in the SAP side any
uh,
table, will it be appeared in the HANA database
yes,
directly
yes,
in?
yes, yes, yes. I need to know what is the schema. What is the schema related to that? One second.
We will not have schemas, right? See that? Like
No, no,
if something is created in SC11,
that is
yeah.
that is admin part. One second.
Okay.
Let me show you that. Let me show you that. One second. I'm reconnecting to the server. Just hold on. One second. So means we it gets stored in the HANA database, but we don't know how to refer to that. There is one T code, DBA cockpit or something is there. One second. Oh, what happened? One second. Okay. DBA, forgot that. But yeah, so we are okay. This is not related to us. This is some admin related, which I collected the information. We have a T code DBA cockpit, DBA cockpit. So you can see here, observe here. What is this database user it is showing here? SAP ABAP 1. SAP ABAP 1. Okay, so this is the database user. On based on the same username, one schema will be available by what? By what name? SAP ABAP 1. Okay, so what are the tables I create through dictionary, or what are the dictionary objects I create here? Everything I can go and see in the schema called as what? What? Uh, SAP ABAP 1 in this case. So we should know what is that user configured here. Am I clear, Praveen, what I am saying? So if you go to ANA Studio now, if you go
Okay.
to ANA
Okay. See that.
Studio,
Yeah. Mhm.
somewhere you'll have what SAP above one schema. Yeah, is it there here? So you
Oh yeah.
okay, you will have everything here. Okay, that's what I don't
Oh.
know. VBAK, VBAP, everything will be available in this schema.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Okay. So
we should know what is the database configured, database the user configured. So in this case, it is what SAP ABAP one. So what I mean to say is, whatever we create through dictionary also, everything gets stored in the same database. But I should know in which schema they are replicated. So to know that schema name, I should go to the T code called as a DBA cockpit. Through that, I need to collect the information.
okay. Vice versa is not possible. Like something if it is created on the HANA native SQL, it will not be directly because we need to expose them. Okay.
We cannot access them directly in the dictionary. No, not possible. We need to expose them as a separate object, like either through database procedure proxies or through external views. External views again we require what? Attribute view, analytical view, or what? Calculation view at the database level.
Yeah.
See,
Even yeah.
so overall agenda is we should know whether we are able to access the table data or not. Table structure I may not be able to access, but the table data I can consume through views or through stored procedures or in other mechanisms.
Okay. Yes.
Done? Yeah, others hope it's clear to everyone what I'm talking. Okay. Right. So what we are discussing now, yeah. So now what is the change I am going to do? I am directly going to create what? AMDP at what level? Uh, in the application server, that is at the ABAP layer. When I activate this, I'm sorry, when I activate also database procedure will not be created. Remember, it will be created only when you call this AMDP for the first time. Okay, I repeat once again, in the top down approach, what we are going to do, we are going to create something called as AMDP. AMDP is nothing but just we are going to create a class. What you will have in the class, a class contains what? Methods and other components. So creating AMDP is nothing but we need to create a class with a method. We need to create a class with a method. When you activate that method and class, procedure will not be created. When you call that method for the first time, then what happened, the database procedure will be created at the HANA database level. Okay, so I'll not talk much on theoretical part at this stage. Let me directly try to create what, AMDP. So AMDP is nothing but what, it is a class which contains what, a method. It's a class which contains what, method, or I can say AMDP are implemented as a methods of what, global ABAP class. Okay, let me just put it here. So here I'll say what, AMDP are implemented. How do we implement AMDP in ABAP means they are implemented as methods of what, as methods of a global ABAP class. They are implemented as a methods of global ABAP class. Yeah, the editing environment, the editing environment the editing environment for AMDP is what, is the ABAP class editor, nothing but what, SE24. Okay, so what I'll do now is let me create what, an AMDP. Okay, and how do we create this AMDP? Through what, HANA Studio. This AMDP should be implemented through what, HANA Studio. Okay, so let me open the HANA Studio and it should be implemented through ABAP perspective. If you remember earlier also, when I created the database procedure at the database level directly, in order to consume the database procedure in the ABAP level, I went to what, ABAP perspective. In the ABAP perspective, I created what, database procedure proxy. Okay, when I activate it, it gets exposed. Okay, here also this AMDP is created in what, ABAP perspective. So let me switch to what, ABAP perspective. Right, so I'm in the ABAP perspective now. Okay, I'm in the ABAP perspective. Right, in the ABAP perspective, what I need to do, I need to use a tool called as ABAP development tool. Okay, in ABAP perspective only, in the ABAP perspective only, there is a plugin attached called as what, ADT, ABAP development tool. Okay, which allows us to perform what, ABAP development activities. Okay, so I am in the ABAP perspective now. In the ABAP perspective, let me create what, an AMDP. So creating an AMDP is nothing but what, creating a class, creating the class. Okay, so for that I can directly create it in the local object, or else you can also create a package first. So how do you create the package in our normal GUI? We go to object navigator, SC80, and we'll create the package. So here what you have to do is, I'm in the ABAP perspective. In the project explorer, this is my connection which is already available. Let me create one package. So how do you create a package? I'll right click on this. I'll say new what, ABAP package. Am I clear? So I'll right click on my connection. Okay, new ABAP package. I'm trying to create. Right, it is asking me the package name. So I'll give the package name as Z Gensoft underscore package. Any name you can give. I am giving it as what, Z Gensoft underscore package. I'll say finish. Done. Okay. Oh, good. So you can see here. Same thing, we got a short description. So I'll give the description as Gensoft package for AMDP. I'll say done. And already we know we use the software component as OM. OM indicates what? Customer developments. Okay, so all the custom objects I'll store it in this particular package. So make sure that software component is always OM. Continue. Done. So same thing now. It is asking our this thing. So I'll go for, I can choose the existing request or I'll go for new request. I'll say something new AMDP request. Done. Save it. Done. 238. Done. That's all. Let me save it. So object was already not changed or already been saved. Done. So the package is created. What is that? Z Zensoft underscore package. It got created. Can I see that package in my this thing HANA Studio, yes, somewhere in the system library, I believe. I'm expanding the system library. Done. Yeah, in the system library, somewhere you'll have it at the end. Somewhere at the end, you'll have it. Yeah, you can see here Z Zensoft underscore package. This is a package available. Done. Okay, let me add this package as a favorite package, not compulsory. Every time I need not come to system library. So I'll just right click on this and I'll say what? Add to what? Favorites. Done. It might have been added. Let me go and check. Here you can see in the favorite package, most frequently used. Good. So what is that package I'm having? Z Zensoft underscore package. If I expand this, yeah, as of now it doesn't have any object. So package is ready. Okay. Package is ready. Why I stored in the package? So that I can do the transport management. Okay. Done. Otherwise I can directly create the AMDP in the local object also. No problem. Done. So this is my package now. I'll right click on the package. Okay, I'll right click on the package. I'm trying to create what? AMDP now. Creating the AMDP, nothing but what? Creating a class. AMDPs are implemented through what? Global classes. So right click on this, new, new. Yeah, you can see ABAP class. Hope it's clear. Package creation not mandatory. I can directly right click on the local objects. I can say new ABAP class. But again, since it is stored in the local object, I cannot do the transportation. That's the reason I created the package. It's not compulsory that I have to create the package in HANA Studio only. I can also log on to the SAP system through SAP GUI, go to SC80, that is Object Navigator, create the package there. That package will reflect here also. Okay, but since we should start working on HANA Studio going forward, we are getting used to this. So that's the reason I directly created the package in HANA Studio, which gets reflected, which I can access it in SAP GUI also. Right click on the package and I'll say new ABAP class. New ABAP class. Okay, so see this now. Good. It is asking the name. You can give any name. So I'll give the name as zgensoft underscore amdp underscore customer invoice. Okay, zgensoft underscore amdp underscore cnv. Description I'll say amdp for customer invoices. Okay, I'm not doing any inheritance, so I'm not giving any super class. What is the class I'm creating? zgensoft underscore amdp underscore cinv is the name of your class. Name of your class. Say next. Done. Again it is asking the request. I can go for new request or I'll choose a existing request. What is that new amdp request? Done. Say finish. Done. So you can see this here. Good. The template is auto generated. Class name, definition, public, final, create public section, protected section, private section. This is definition and this is implementation. Is it clear up to this stage? Any questions, please ask me. No questions? Done. So I got the template of the class. So now I need to create the class. What are the class contains? It can contain many components, attributes, methods, events, constructors, blah blah blah. Okay, so we are not trying to understand object oriented here. Our agenda is what? I need to create the database procedure through the ABAP layer. That's the reason I came to what? AMDP. So AMDP is nothing but what? Class. As part of this class, I need to create some method. Okay, the method will act as what? Stored procedure. In that method, I am need to write some business logic. That business logic is nothing but the logic of your procedure. So what I'll do is, one second. Yeah, or else it's already logged in now. Okay, yeah, here I don't have table. Yeah. See here, I'm having a table. This is a custom table. This is a custom table which I already created. YCINV. If I display this, okay, this is my custom table. I took some fields like customer number, net price, date, what p-date, priority, interest, due days, etc., etc. Done, done, done. Okay, this is my structure. Okay, let me make a copy of this. I'll copy this table to ZCINV. This is a custom table. So ZCINV. Let me store it in the local object only. Or else can I use that package which I use there? Gzensoft underscore package. Is it there? Yes, yes, I'm having that. Done. Okay. So I copied this. So if you see this table now, this is the table. Do you have the data in this? No, data is not there. Data is not copied. Okay. Data is not copied, so let me just create the data. So what I'll do is, this is the table. Let me create the data quickly. How do you create table contents? Create. What happened? Acha, it is a new state. Okay, it is not activated. Check it. Activate this. Let me check the data now. Data is not there. Okay, let me quickly create the data now. Table contents, create entries, customer number.
So Sridhar, this particular table should go and sit in the same ABAP
Yes, yes,
package,
yes,
right?
yes. SAP ABAP
Schema.
on schema. Yes,
So we can utilize these, tables to create attribute analytical
yeah,
and
yeah,
calculations
yes,
using this.
yes. We can.
Okay. As well as the same CDS views also, the CDS views which we create, can we use them as somewhere in analytical views there
Yes,
as well?
yes, we
No.
can. We can. CDS views we have not yet discussed. No, Praveen, did we discuss? No, we have not yet discussed. We'll see
Okay.
that. Next topic is that only. So three, 1 second, two. Priority. I'll give what L. Okay, let me save it. This is one record. See here, wantedly, I'm not providing the data for interest and what? Due days. Okay, two, I'll give the net price as 2000. Date, I'll give the date. I'll save it. Done. Three, it's a net price. Medium, done. Four, I'll give the net price. Date, save it. Done. Five, I'll give the net price. Date, I'll give. Let me save it. Done. Okay, it will be saved. So my requirement is I want to create the what AMDP method. In that AMDP method I need to calculate the logic. I need to calculate the data for what interest and what due days. Okay, so let me show you the logic first. Right, so what I have to do now, I'm trying to create the AMDP now. So already the class is created. As part of this class I need to take what a method. It is getting saved. Let it save. Done. So what I'll do is, in this class let me create one what types declaration. What I'll do here, oh, got stuck. 1 second please, it got stuck. Okay, so in the public section here, oh, 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 one second. Okay, database records successfully created here. Let me go to the contents. Yeah, these are the 5 records available. I don't have data for what? Interest and what? Due days. Fine. Now let me open this HANA Studio. Yeah, in the HANA Studio, right? Let me, I'm in the ABAP perspective only. Let me connect. Yeah, it is asking the credentials. Done, it is connected. Right, so what I did here, under my favorite package, this is my package, right? What is the class we are trying to create? This is the class we are trying to create. Okay, let me double click on that once again, and you can see in the dictionary I created one table. Now what is the table? ZCINV. This is the table. Okay, done. Now in this class what I have to do is, in the public section, yeah, just try to understand. I'll declare one types declaration. Types. I'll give the type name as ty underscore tt underscore customer invoice. Type table of what? ZCINV. So what is my logic now? What is the logic I'm going to write? My procedure should calculate the value for what? Interest and what? Due days. So I'm not directly creating the procedure in the HANA database. I'm creating it as what? AMDP. Nothing but I'm creating that as a global class method. Done. Then, so when I call this AMDP method for the first time, what should happen? A database procedure should get created in the database level now. So for that reason, the prerequisite is this particular AMDP class must implement a interface. Already we know how to implement interfaces. How to implement? By using the interfaces keyword. There is one standard interface, if underscore AMDP underscore marker underscore what HDB. If you implement this interface only, a stored procedure gets created whenever we call the AMDP method for the first time. Okay, this is a prerequisite. Our AMDP class must implement a interface called as what? If underscore AMDP underscore marker underscore what? HDB. This is a prerequisite. Then I'll take one static method so that I don't require any object class method. I'll give the name as get underscore customer underscore, okay, z underscore guest underscore customer underscore invoices exporting. I want to return the value of this, value of some export parameter name. Since I want to return internal table, I'm starting it as et. Let me give it as invoice. Type, this parameter is of what type? My local type declaration, ty underscore tt underscore cin. So am I clear? So this method is having one return parameter of type what? My local type declaration. My local type is of what? It is an internal table of type what? ZCINV. So with this name a procedure gets created, and since this method is having exporting parameter, what you have to understand, when the procedure gets created it will have an out parameter. Exporting is nothing but what? Returning the, so at the procedure level it is nothing but what? Out parameter. Okay, I am getting a warning here. What is this? Implementation missing for the method. Yes, I am going to implement that method in the class implementation level. So how do you implement method? What is the method name? Get underscore what? Customer underscore invoices. We have to follow some syntax for this. By by database procedure for HDB. This is a syntax I must follow. By database procedure, by database procedure for HDB, for HDB, for HDB. Then language. What is the language supported? SQL script. Yeah, language SQL script using what is the dictionary I'm going to use? ZCINV. Done. Okay, and here I'll say end method. Still I'm getting a warning. What is that? The body of the database procedure cannot be empty. Yeah, I can see here the warning. The body of the database cannot be empty. So again, this is the syntax you have to follow. This is a syntax you have to follow while defining that method. Okay, by database procedure for HTTP language so and so, using what? So and so, because as part of this method I am going to use this particular dictionary object. That's the reason I have to say using so and so. If you are in, if you want to use VBAK table, separate with space like this. Whatever the dictionary objects that I am going to use in my method, that you have to specify by separating with what? Space. Okay, using so and so. Done. Then I'll write some select query. What is the export parameter name? Et underscore cust underscore inv is equal to select. What are the fields in that? Customer number. What else? Customer number. What else? What else? What else? Customer number, net price, invoice date, and payment date. Invoice date and payment date. Okay. Yeah. Net price. What else? Invoice date, comma, payment date, payment date. Then what else? What else? What else? Payment date. Yeah, priority, priority, interest, and due days. Okay. Now I want to do one more thing here. What I want is, here L is here na, it should be updated as low. I is H is here, it should be updated as what? I. M is here na, it should be updated as what? Medium. So I'll say, yeah, see the technique here. Okay, case, what is that field name? Prty, Prty only na? Yeah, Prty. Done. Case Prty. What I'll do, when L, when L, then I'll say low. Okay, when what? When what? So this business logic gets executed. This business logic gets executed in the database code push down approach. I'm implementing the code push down approach now. AMDP main purpose is what? To perform what? Code push down. Medium, when what? H, then what? I, then I. Done. Then end as a, end as oh shut. Yeah, end as what? Priority. Done. Done. Then okay, this is one value. Then what else? I need to calculate the data for what? Interest and what? Due days. Interest and due underscore days. Okay, done. So I'll say case, case what? I'll put it in the next line. When we have one function, when days between, when days between invoice date and what? Payment date. When days between invoice and payment days is between 1 and 30. If it is between 1 and 30, then do this logic. What is that field? NETPR, net price. Okay, then net price into 5%, 5 by 100. Okay, then I'll say when days between invoice date and payment date is between what? 31 and what? 60. 31 and 60, the net price is something 8. 8% of interest. Then what else? One more condition shall I go, or else what I'll do? Else I'll say net price into 10%. 10 by what? 100. 10 by 100. Done. Then this is the value I want to construct for what field? Interest. End as what? Interest. Done. End as interest. Done. 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 Then we have one more field. Okay. Days underscore between what? I date and what? Sorry. Between invoice date and what? Payment date. Payment date as, I forgot the field name. What is the field name? Due underscore days. Due underscore days. So done. Okay, from which table? From zcinv. From zcinv, end method and end class. Yeah, it's already there. Done, 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 done. That's it. Okay, that's it. This is my business logic. What is my agenda here? I need to calculate the data for what? Interest and what? Interest and what? Due days. Okay, if the days between this invoice date and payment date is 1 to 30, okay, it should be 5%. Okay, between 31 and 60 it should be 8%. Between greater, if it is other than that, it should be 10%. Okay, and due days means I have to calculate the number of days between this and put it in what? Due days. So I'm using a function called as what? Days between information invoice date and payment days as what? Due underscore days. So I'm calculating the value for priority. I'm calculating the value for what? Interest. I'm calculating the value for what? Due days. Hope it's clear to everyone. That's all. Let me save it. Control S. Let me do the syntax check. Control F2. Done. Let me any errors? Contains no errors. Let me activate this. Done. It is activated. Done. So I'm done with my AMDP. My suggestion is don't try to remember this syntax. Okay, concentrate in the business logic. What is the purpose of AMDP? Code push down. Instead of executing the logic in the application server, the logic should be pushed in the database level so that the entire calculations will be performed at what? Database level. How do we implement code push down approach in HANA database? Means one of the approach is what? Through AMDP. Going forward, we'll see what? Core data services. Any questions on this? Please ask me. So what is the prerequisite? AMDP class must implement a interface called as what? If underscore AMDP underscore marker underscore HDB. Okay. And what are the method I gave? This method will act as what? Procedure. And based on this method name only, a procedure gets created when you call this method for the first time. If I create 100 methods here, it will create 100 procedures. One method, one procedure, like that. And while implementing that method, you must follow this particular syntax. We have to use using, and we have to mention the dictionary objects which you want to use in this particular method. Any questions?
Sridhar, which is the best technique? Is it AMDP or HANA stored procedure?
AMDP, I'll say. I can say stored procedure is before SP05.
Okay, okay. So you suggest like we have to have the new process, right?
Yes,
This is what
yes,
the new technique.
yes, new technique, yes. Again, that is not outdated, it is developer choice. Okay. But the thing is,
So
if you create the stored procedure at the database level, I gave the points here. What is that? Both the servers are involved. ABAP and what? HANA servers involved. But whereas here only what? ABAP server is the sole master for doing everything.
oh, so you okay? What do you basically like think like Sridhar, like all these existing projects which are running in performance issues will also undergo so many changes in future?
Might be. See, again, maybe in another 2 3 months, we are expecting a new service pack. Again, that there are some more features. I'm just going through that. Okay, so yes, we should go by releases. Okay, by
But the
that.
existing code has to get updated, right? In all
Yes,
in all the existing projects.
yes, 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 yes. That's why without ANA Studio, ABAP consultant cannot survive. Okay, so we should go by SAP.
Yeah, I think CDS and HANA AMDB will play a key role probably
Yes,
here.
yes, yes. Here I wrote a simple logic, but it can be any
Yeah.
complex business logic. Okay.
So basically, we are trying to avoid most of the internal table processing logic
Yes,
here
yes,
itself.
yes, yes, yes. Entire code should get executed in what? Database level only. The data which you need to show it to the user only should be written. Earlier approach is what? We are pulling the data, we are doing the processing at the application server level. Here, entire processing will be done at what? Database level. So, network layer also, traffic would be what? Decreased.
So we will not have any for all entries keywords either, any going forward, or like
Might
we'll
be.
just manage with this
Might be, yes. Well, everything would be replaced.
because joins are better than for all entries, right?
Correct,
Because
yes.
if the join is performing good,
Yes, obviously. Okay, right. So I've activated this. Now what I have to do, let me quickly try to consume it. Okay, let me quickly try to consume it. So what I'll do is, yeah, here only I'll do it. Okay, I'll try to create a program. So right click on the package. I can do it through GUI also, but I'm avoiding the GUI. So I'll right click on the package. Okay, I'm running out of time, but still it is slow. 1 second. Yeah. So what is my agenda now? This method should be called from a ABAP report. So I'll right click on this, new what? ABAP program. Okay. So I'll say, I'll give the name as ZZZ what? Consume underscore what? AMDP. Consume AMDP. Okay. Z consume underscore AMDP is the name of the program. Say next. Done. I'll choose the existing request. Say finish. So we know the technique. How do you call the static method of a class? Is it a static method? Yes, it is a static method only. How do you call it? I can call it directly by using what? Class name. This is my class name. Okay, so I'll say call method so and so. I have to use what? Implies operator. You can see here, see the technique here. Smart help. The moment I give a class name, I say implies, done. See here, this class is implementing that interface. Okay, implementing that interface, and that interface having some two attributes. I don't require that at this stage. I'll directly call my method. Get customer invoices. Shift enter. Shift enter. Done. I got the signature. Okay. It is returning, na? Okay, it is returning. So I'll say data what t underscore what invoice type table of what is that structure ZCINV done. Et underscore so and so is equal to what is that t underscore what INV done. So I'll get the invoices in that local internal table. I need to display it. I can use loop and loop, but let us avoid that. We have a class CL underscore demo underscore output. This is a predefined class implies there is a method display or something is there, yeah, display. Shift enter, done. Doesn't have any mandatory parameters. I'll directly pass the value. Okay, what is the internal table? T underscore in. If you want, you loop it and display it, but I don't want that. I'm using one predefined class. In that class there is a static method display which takes the internal with the input. That's all. So save it, check for the syntax error, no errors, activate this. I'm trying to activate. Now I'm calling. Remember, I'm calling now. I'm calling now. I'm calling now. When I say F8, are we getting or not? Good. So I got the result. Okay, what is that I got? Customer number, net price, invoice date, payment date, priority. Yes, it got updated. And I got the interest and the number of days. I got the interest and number of days. This is my report. Hope it's clear to everyone. This is my report. Okay, so now let me go to what development perspective. What is the schema I told, which is configured for that SAP ABAP 1 na? Let me go and check what is that password here. Oh shit. Yeah. So under catalog, what is the schema? My schema, not my schema, sorry. What is that? SAP ABAP 1, na? In the DBA cockpit, I have shown you earlier. In the DBA cockpit. Okay, so I'll go to SAP ABAP 1. In this procedures, what is the name of the procedure? Nothing but your name of your method. What is the name of my method? What is the name of it? Get underscore customer underscore invoices. Okay, so if I done this is a table type, so I need to check where it is available, but I can filter it. I can right click, and if I remove that filter, it will show all the things. It will show too many things. What is my class? My class is what? Z gensoft underscore amdp underscore cinv. Somewhere it will be there. Oh, object limit 1000 is reached. Huh? Okay, so I'll filter it. I'll filter it now. So how do you filter? I'll just right click on the procedures. I'll say filters. What is the filter? What is my method name? Get underscore customer underscore invoices. So let me say get underscore what? Customer underscore what? Invoices. Say okay. Good. So you can see here. What is that? Z Gensoft underscore AMDP underscore CANV is the name of your class. In that, what is the method name? Get customer invoice. But it is created as a procedure now. If I double click on this, done. You can see now at the background. What is that? Create procedure so and so. Yeah, it has taken one output parameter. Done. It has taken output parameter. Same code which got copied to our procedure. Am I clear to everyone? I have not created the procedure directly in the HANA database. I have created through ABAP. That's why it is called as ABAP managed database procedure. Create procedure, procedure name, create procedure, procedure name, output parameter, because there I took exporting parameter. Language is SQL script, and this is my business logic of my procedure.
But you said, Srina, sometime back that there is one S4 HANA, there is one more schema in which all the tables are there, right? So is that the original schema, or this is the original schema of the
This is a
SAP
schema.
system?
This is a schema, SAP ABAP 1, which is
This is
configured. Yeah.
okay. Okay. So anything we create at the backend side, SAP side, it will come here.
Yeah, we need to check the schema in your system. Go to the DBA cockpit and
Okay.
check the schema name. In my server, it is SAP ABAP 1. Okay, but you have to check it there.
But here, see that like in this SAP ABAP, and if we create tables here,
Mhm.
will it be directly seen in the SAP side backend? Because it's the same DBA cockpit schema, right?
To be fair, I have not checked it, Praveen. I'll check it today.
Okay.
I have not checked it. Okay.
Because it's directly visible here, right? It's
Yeah,
like vice versa, right? It should be vice versa.
might because that is the base schema. It might get affected, but I need to check it before I confirm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so just I give the glimpse of this AMDP. Anyhow, again we are going to discuss few more examples in the coming classes. Okay, so the focus should be I created the stored procedure through what? ABAP. We have created. The moment you activate, procedure will not be created. You have to call this AMDP for the first time. First time when you call only it gets created. Remember, activating this AMDP class doesn't create the procedure. So that is important. What you can do when you're practicing is you create the class, you activate the class. Go to that schema in the HANA database and check procedure will not be available. You need to call it for the first time. Okay, you need to call it from your program. Once you call it for the first time, then only the procedure gets created physically in that particular configured schema in the HANA database level. And here, if you don't know about this class, just use loop, declare a work area, use loop, and use the right statement. And going forward, what I'll do in this only, I'll display the same thing in ALV reporting. The way we do ALV reporting in HANA is what? Different. Okay, so we have to club all the features and put it in an object. Done? Right, so I'll share the recording today, this one and yesterday's one also. Oh, yesterday I have not taken the class, no, right? I think I shared up to Wednesday. I think I shared the recording up to Wednesday. I'll share this session today. Next class we'll have it on Monday. We'll continue with AMDP. discussing more things. I have not discussed about this one. Okay, so there are many more things we need to discuss. I'll discuss that from Monday onwards. Done. Chalo then, so I'll wind off. We'll continue on Monday. Chalo. Any doubts online? You also check it. You try to create a table in SAP ABAP and schema directly in the HANA database. Check whether it's reflected in the dictionary. I have not checked it. Okay, so let me also check it. Chalo. So I'm winding off. We'll meet again on what? Monday.